Revenge politics and criminal vengeance. South Africans are getting their weekly dose. Joining me now is political commentator Solly Moeng. Welcome, Solly.
Hello, Chris. Always happy to see you.
Tony Leon's lobbying scandal is not going away.
No, it's not going away. And he's also not going down without a fight. I mean, it's a crazy thing because everyone seems to agree that there's not really criminal wrongdoing there. But hey, Steenhuisen gave the opposition to the DA something to use against the DA. Now, poor Geordin Hill-Lewis has to do three things, basically. Sort this thing out. He has not really wanted to participate in it. He was hoping that it would go away on its own. It's not going away. He has to protect the city of Cape Town against oncoming opposition parties. He also has to represent his party across the nation. But it is South Africa's second biggest political party. This one, the resolve thing, everyone agrees there's not really criminal wrongdoing in that, but this level of lobbying, which is not regulated in South Africa, is surprising a lot of people, the extent of it. But actually, look, we would be very naive to think that nobody else is doing it. Okay, he's gone in there, he used his past relations with the political party, with the DA in this case, and I'm sure promised to his clients that he would have the kind of access that nobody else enjoys, and he's used that access. It will be interesting to see whether there have been any political decisions made by those DA representatives at any level, whether it's in Tshwane or at national level, that came as a result of the lobbying by resolve. We haven't seen anything pointing in the direction, but it was very clear that the aim has been to say to his clients, look, don't worry, we will do this for you. We'll get there, we'll get you into the room with those people, and hopefully some of that lobbying will happen in your favor. And it happened. It really did happen with the one MP who was pushing against the existing SIM card legislation. I mean, the sense of it makes sense. If the current setup is not security safe, if you want, and these guys are saying, look, we have a solution for South Africa, and she pushed that, just claiming that it has nothing to do with resolve, but it's very murky, very, very murky.
Solly, this clash between two former leaders of the party, two former golden boys of the Democratic Alliance, must be hugely damaging to the Democratic Alliance. Now, interestingly, last year around Easter, I was told by a foreign diplomat that Steenhuisen will be replaced. And that was long before any scandal emerged relating to him. At the same meeting, I was told that they were unhappy with Tony Leon because he had, quote, botched the GNU negotiations.
Look, in the end, everyone is running on their own interests, right? I mean, look, a lot of people have been saying that Steenhuisen was not the strongest leader of the DA. Many people inside and outside of the DA were saying that he wasn't, but there might have been a plan, and this plan was clearly instigated, as things say, go by the resolve, which was weaponized against his leadership. That is obviously worrisome. Now, how Tony Leon, of course, he was involved in somewhat in the DA, on the DA side of the negotiations for the GNU. How he would have, messed up, that still needs to come out. I mean, I think this whole thing is becoming serialized in a very strange way. So I think by the time we finish this conversation, something else will be thrown out there. The exact role of resolve in what has happened, both inside the DA, with the personality clashes, but also in the direction that was taken and the posture that was taken by the DA in the GNU. That's going to be interesting to see how it comes out, and more perhaps as these guys get divided, fictionalized amongst themselves, more people will come up and say, you know what, I know something else. Here's something else. So Tony Leon is going to, I don't see him winning in terms of staying as the key lobbying machinery within the DA on behalf of his clients. I think it's going to hurt him over time. It's just a matter of time. He's going to have to decide how to exit this whole thing with his chin up. And right now, he's not prepared to do that. He's threatening legal action. So far, he hasn't taken anyone to court. And, there's no clear resolution as to at what point things were right, at what point they became wrong.
There are DA councillors who fear that they will not have a seat come the local government elections in November precisely because of what they term the damage to the party caused by the leadership of Mr. John Steenhuisen. What about Cape Town? Will the DA lose its grip?
Look, the DA has held majority in the city of Cape Town for many years. I mean, I think the last time in 2021 they got something close to 58%. It's going to be hard. It's very hard to imagine that they will hold on to that. Getting Mackenzie's PA is slowly using the colored vote or the colored narrative to say, you know, you're not being taken care of as well as we can. We could. We understand your pain better than these people understand your pain. And I think as they continue to win small by-elections all over the place, I think they're going to take something, and we don't know how much, from the DA. Action SA has also come forward to say, hey, we're going to put in a Daryl James here. She's a fighter. She comes all the way from Eldorado Park outside Johannesburg. She is known for being a very hardcore anti-corruption, anti-drug use fighter, and we know that it's a huge problem in the Western Cape. The extent to which they will make inroads into the DA strongholds, that remains to be seen. But what is very clear is that the DA is no longer just walking on still waters. I think these guys are coming up for it. I think it's very likely that they will lose something, probably a little bit of its majority. But it's not, look, it's in the political place. Many weeks, the few months that we left toward the next elections are a very long period. Anything is possible. But Geordin Hill-Lewis can be sleeping with both eyes closed right now with all of these things happening around him.
Healthcare matters, but what matters most?
Having cover for the people who keep this business going.
Bonitas is there for you when it counts. Bonitas, medical aid for South Africa. Visit bonitas.co.za and find your plan.
Over to the other big story, the police and political capture saga. IDAC Chief, Investigations Directorate Against Corruption Chief Andrea Johnson, suddenly being hospitalised before she could appear before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry to answer questions relating to her relationship with Crime Intelligence boss General Feroz Khan, who has a huge set of problems of his own. Mr. Justice Madlanga is furious at what he terms useless sick notes being handed in by people who do not wish to appear before the commission.
Yeah, in the meantime, we see the growth of this so-called Madlanga Ward at some hospital out there. We have Feroz Khan, we have Mike van Wyk, we have Solly Moeng, now Andrea Johnson. I mean, it's absolutely crazy, this whole thing, that they say to themselves, amongst themselves, okay, this is what we're going to do, or is this something that just comes up? Okay, let's pretend to be sick. The poor doctors. I mean, what doctor gets to sign? Okay, sure. Feroz Khan was killed. Was not killed. Was shot. You cannot take that away. But somebody like who suddenly becomes sick in the last minute when they're supposed to go and testify becomes a problem. I think that the chairperson Madlanga, retired justice, is absolutely correct to be flabbergasted, to be very, very upset by what's going on. But he also knows that there's a law, right? So he has to push, and he does push. I mean, he's very convincing. He pushes up to the point where he must for these people to show up and tell South Africans what's been going on. Johnson is a problem. This lady was a problem before, which is a problem now. And now there are rumors that she's going to resign from a position. The president is seemingly looking at her fitness for office. I don't know what process they're going to follow there, but she still must come out. I mean, she's been implicated in some serious wrongdoing into, sharing confidential dockets with information with people, asking them to send dockets to somebody who was accused, in this case, Feroz Khan, when he wasn't supposed to see that stuff, and asking people to delete emails. I mean, that's absolutely. This is the head of South Africa's highest, most important anti-corruption body. So all of this stuff shows the extent to which our systems have been compromised. I mean, we boast of having a democracy with various independent democratic institutions, Chapter 9 institutions, the criminal justice system, but we see that over the past 20 years, these institutions that could be amazing if they were led by the right people, like Julie Mandonsela did when she was public protector. If we had the right people, these institutions could do well to stand between her and the people of South Africa. But over the years, we've seen seriously compromised people. I mean, so when they come there, they get interviewed, like, what? Who appointed this person? Where do they come from? It's like, it's absolutely crazy. So we've taken fine institutions, like taking a fine jet, private jet, and putting Solly Moeng to fly it to Paris. I mean, I've never flown a private jet, you know what I'm saying? So we have really compromised the systems, and a serious cleaning up needs to happen throughout.
Talking about taking private jets, the former Ekurhuleni city manager, Imogen Mashazi, she looked very different in the dock to what she looked like at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, when she was so disdainful and contemptuous of being questioned there. So that's good news. She's she's among a spate of arrests of those fingered in evidence before the commission.
Yeah, look, I think it's a good thing that there seem to be consequences slowly. You know, these people, as you say, she seem to be disdainful, arrogant, not present. It's like, well, you know, you're wasting my time. I'm supposed to be on another private jet to God knows to Quadqua. I mean, she took a private jet to Durban, to Quadqa, to London at somebody else's pay. And she didn't seem to see anything wrong with that. And clearly, it's coming out that, you know, the kind of, I've seen videos of her boasting about the expensive premium brands that she's wearing, her pushy bag here, bracelets, shoes, and stuff. I mean, this is a state. This is a civil servant, you know, who could not possibly afford those things with on her ordinary salary. But there are others. I mean, she's not the only one. It's a good thing that she's where she's at now, and I hope that they catch all of them, because South Africans just want to know that this principle of equality before the law exists, and that there will be consequences. We've been a country of no consequences for too long. They might try and, you know, get hospitalized, delay processes, you know, lie, protect one another. But I really hope that at some point, South Africans will get what they want. They believe, the knowledge, the confirmation that this country has got institutions that can stand firm and pretend this democracy, and all of us, all of South Africans, against any attempt by anybody, irrespective of rank, to destroy them, to undermine them, to repurpose them for their own criminal acts. I mean, it's still happening. There are still people to be named in politics. Julius Malema's name has come up. We don't know what's going on there. So we were told about Big Five, you know, it's not all the names are out. Not everything that we should know is out there, but a lot is out there. There's got to be consequences. This should not just be another you know, what do you call it, soap opera. Like the Zondo Commission was a soap opera. Oh, what happened? Who else? And nothing happens. This one here, South Africans must not sleep until there are consequences. We're not just looking for entertainment. We're looking for people to fall, because they cannot do this to South Africa and get away with it.
There is still great faith in the Madlanga Commission, but there is a huge furore over the draft report of Parliament's ad hoc committee.
Look, in fairness, Parliament has got a line that it cannot cross. They cannot find, you know, somebody to be guilty or not guilty. They are not a court of law. But they're also politicians. I mean, one had to be very naive to think that people would not try and defend people from their own parties. You know, the ANC people would, you know, they are there to ensure that their own people don't fall too hard, because sometimes when they fall, the ramifications go a bit further into the party or higher into the party. So I wasn't expecting much from this thing. They're coming up to say, though, but, you know, there's no criminal finding. Okay, we know that the report was a draft report. It's now supposed to be finalized further after more input is put into it. The final report must still be made public, I think, the end of August, after it would have been voted for or against by the National Assembly. But that's going to be a report. There's a lot of politics in it. We should really care about what the justice system does to the people implicated in these things. I don't think South Africans should go by a report. I mean, I saw, for instance, I mentioned Malema. There was a recording of Malema during which he didn't want Feroz Khan to be called to testify in Parliament. Why? Now suddenly things are coming out that are linking him to. So these guys in the political benches will defend their own interests, with their party interests, their personal interests. South Africans should that one they can look as just entertainment. I think what should happen, the courts should stand up again. And as we see in the Justice Commission, the Justice Madlanga Commission doesn't have the same limitations as the Parliamentary Committee does, and it must go as far as it can. And I'm happy that there's also the recommendations task force for the police, Commission's recommendations team. Those guys must go after these guys. Where there's evidence, they must go fearlessly and get them out. I care only about what's good for South Africa, not by the theatrics that are thrown at us by politicians who pretend to be, to be popular, who are popular, sadly, for all the wrong reasons that have nothing to do with the well-being of South Africa.
Indeed. Thank you. That was political commentator Solly Moeng speaking to Biz News, and I am Chris Steyn.
Thank you, Chris.
Start your day a step ahead. Biz News Insider. It delivers the business stories that matter every morning straight to your inbox. Sharp, fast, and free. Subscribe now. In uncertain times, good information is priceless. The Biz News Conference is heading back to the Drakensberg. Join me, Alec Hogg, from the 11th to the 14th of August for BNC 9. Champagne Sports Resort, where it all began, and where our community gathers for honest conversations, smart investing insights, and direct access to some of South Africa's sharpest minds. Come and rub shoulders with the best we've got. 28 keynote speakers, 3 days. Seats are available now. Book your seat by clicking the link in the description.